Welcome to Aligned for Success podcast, where we help chiropractors create practices that truly serve their life's vision. I'm your host, Dr. Nikki, and I'm here to show you how to break free from stagnation, grow your practice, and rediscover the joy of why you became a chiropractor to begin with. Whether you're looking to boost your revenue, spend more time with family, or simply enjoy practice life again, you're in the right place. Let's align your path to success. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Aligned for Success. Today, I want to talk to you guys about a really big theme that has been coming up inside of the Wealthy Practitioner, and that is the concept of overwhelm. So today, we're going to talk about overwhelm, ownership, and decision fatigue. So this morning, I was driving Hazel to camp. She's not back at school yet. They're out of school for literally like 3 weeks at Christmas break. And I said, Hazel, what should I record a podcast on for next week? And she said, I think it should be on using your brain, having a better heart, and money. And I was like, well, dang, that's actually not so bad. But it's also just a result of that kid is always listening to the things that I am listening to. And so if I put a podcast on or I'm listening to some sort of course material or training, she will literally be like, who is that? What are they talking about? Can I watch with you? Can I listen? So, of course, I always let her listen, and I think it's really awesome. But we're not going to talk about using our brain, having a bigger heart, or money, but they all really tie into each other, right? But overwhelm right now is one of these words that we're just hearing a ton. And so everyone's saying like, I'm overwhelmed, I'm overwhelmed, I'm overwhelmed. Also, I think the end of the year brings up feelings of overwhelm. It's like, I know my kid is out of school for 3 whole weeks. Then you have family come visit. You're not eating properly. You're just off a normal routine. And so it can feel super easy, especially this time of year, to just feel overwhelmed or even, dare I say, burnt out. And so that doesn't always come from just people who are disorganized. It comes from owners of businesses, people who lead, and even high capacity people. But what really stands out to me isn't that most people are overwhelmed by volume of things or tasks. They're overwhelmed by ownership, specifically by how many decisions still belong to them. So today I want to talk about overwhelm through the lens of ownership, identity, and decision fatigue. Because until you can really understand that connection, there is zero amount of time management help or doing a time audit that can help you work through this. You have to figure out the difference. And so overwhelm shows up when your identity as an owner hasn't evolved, even though your business has. So many of us, when we're starting our business early on, ownership means doing. It means deciding on every single little thing. Maybe you answered your phones. Maybe you were scheduling patients. Maybe you were the one who just did everything. I know when I opened my practice, I worked by myself for 4 months, and I had made a goal once I got to 100 patient visits a week, I was going to hire someone. And I ended up putting an ad out at 85 because I got to that point in like less than 2 months. And so I was like, dang, we're growing pretty quick. And honestly, I'm tired of doing everything. So I had to decide early on, though, that I didn't want to be included in everything. But this can be a really hard mindset shift to make if you are used to doing every single thing in your business. And it does work until you get to a point where it doesn't. And at a certain point, the problem isn't the workload. It's that everything still routes through you. It's every question, it's every decision, it's every exception that ever gets made inside of your business. And it's not because you need to physically be there, but it's because your ownership identity hasn't shifted from the doer of decisions to designer of decision making. And so that gap is where true overwhelm lives. So decision fatigue is not actually caused by making too many decisions. It's caused by making the wrong kind of decisions at your specific level that you are at in business. And so owners, they feel burnt out when they're still deciding These three things that somebody else could decide. So someone else can make this decision for you or on behalf of the business, things that my favorite system should decide, and things that don't require ownership level judgment. The brain was simply never meant to carry all of these mini micro decisions at a higher level of scale. And so that's why people feel mentally exhausted even when their schedule doesn't look that full. The decision load is just completely misaligned with what their actual role is. And so there is a difference in this ownership of an operator ownership versus true owner identity. And I still spend a ton of time in operator mode, right? Still in the doing, the physical doing of things. And so there is a difference between these two things. Operator ownership sounds like I need to be involved so that I know it's done right. It's faster if I just make a decision, or everyone's ultimate favorite, I'll just do it myself. True ownership sounds like who should own this decision? What framework or system do we have that should guide this? What decision never needs to come to me again? This shift from operator to owner isn't about disengaging. It's just simply about moving upstream. When you don't upgrade your ownership identity, you become the bottleneck, and decision fatigue, that becomes your minimum baseline. And so this is why systems only work after you make this shift. Y'all know I love me some systems, right? How can we optimize? How can we make this better? But systems don't work for overwhelmed owners. And it's not because the systems aren't proper or right. It's because the decision rights aren't clear. So who actually owns the system and who owns the decision making behind it? If the people on your team don't know, what are they allowed to decide? What should they escalate to you? So what actually does eventually make it to your desk? And what does success of taking ownership of this task look like? Then every single system will still default back to you. And that is not a systems problem. That is an ownership clarity problem. So decision fatigue can disappear when the decision-making authority is explicit. So like, hey, you're in charge of this. I'm in charge of this. You're in charge of this. If you don't know this, go through these 3 steps. Then you can ask me. Then you can bring it to my desk. Then I'll make a decision. When outcomes are also owned by the right level. So we don't need to I actually did used to have a team member who would come back and be like, hey, can I schedule this patient at this time? I'll be like, I don't know. Can you? I'm not looking at a schedule. I was like, you just have to make a decision, right? So things like that. It's not up to me to decide what time a patient can come, what time a new patient can come, if someone can change their appointment, etc. I show up in the back, I adjust, and that's my responsibility. But it's also that my team needs to be empowered that those are the decisions that they make. And so they need to know what leads to saying yes or no. How many people can we see in a 15-minute spot? Do we have set times for new patients? Do we have 1 doctor? Do we have 3 doctors? What's our capacity like on a Thursday afternoon versus a Monday morning? So all of these things, that is the system, but I can't constantly be asked, can this person come at this time? Because I truly don't even know the answer, and someone else can make that decision very, very easily. So that is outcomes being owned by the right level. And you also stop being the emotional and operational backstop. How easy is that, right? If someone asks you something, you might be more likely to say yes or no based on the emotion that you have involved with it being your actual business. So, oh, so-and-so can't pay. Can they do this? Oh, yeah, sure, that's fine. But if they ask someone else, that answer is probably going to be no, because they know what the answer is and they know what the expectation and the standard for payment is. And so here's a reframe that you guys can start making. Instead of asking, how do I get less overwhelmed? Ask instead, what decisions am I still making that no longer should belong to me? And what that question will do is it will recalibrate your role, because overwhelm is never asking you to work less. It's just asking you to own your responsibilities differently. And so guys, if overwhelm feels constant right now, just remember this is the weirdest time of year. It's like, what day is it? What time is it? And so everything's about to be back to normal. It is Monday after the new year. You guys are all likely back at work. I know my kid's not back at school yet, but it's coming very soon. And so we will be on a very normal routine very, very quickly. So there are lots of things that can contribute to that, but that's where we also need to understand that overwhelm, we can't let it be amplified by what's going on with calendars or seasons or weather or somebody's mood, right? It has to be just very, very simple. And who has ownership of these simple decisions that we need to make every single day? And so this will come down to what's underneath it, right? And so it's not the time and it's not the effort, but it's simply just an outdated identity that you have created for yourself that is leading you to decision fatigue. So the next time that you guys think I'm feeling overwhelmed, what I want you to do is not think about what can I do less, but think about what can somebody else decide that I don't have to? And that will literally change everything because overwhelm will simply stop becoming your default. Then leadership and ownership will start to feel very, very clear again. All right, guys. Well, I hope you all had a very wonderful Christmas and New Year and that you are ready to get back into the normal routine and rhythm. If you guys are looking for a change in your business, we are opening the 90-day sprint just one single time in 2026, and that is going to be in March. So we will have pre-enroll details coming out very, very soon. And if you guys want those, just send me a DM on Instagram and I will send you the link to get added to our 90-day sprint waitlist. By being on the waitlist, you guys will get first access to the 90-day sprint when we launch. And there are some super special secret bonuses by being on the waitlist, but you have to be on the waitlist to even see what that is. All right, guys. Well, if this episode resonated for you, please share it with a friend or somebody who's just maybe kind of annoying you to saying all the time, I'm just so overwhelmed. I'm just so busy, and help them understand that this is likely a them problem. All right, guys. I will see you next week on another episode of Align for Success. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for tuning in to Aligned for Success. If today's episode resonated with you, please be sure to subscribe and leave a review. This helps other chiropractors find their way to practice freedom too. Remember, true success comes from when your practice aligns with your life's purpose. Until next time, I'm Dr. Nikki, reminding you that a thriving practice and a fulfilling life go hand in hand. See you next week.